Hey everyone, this is Mr. Airsoft. In today's video, we will be disassembling the G&G SG550. And I have two reasons for making this video. Number one is because there's not many videos out there that teach you how to do this, and number two is because I'll be needing to get into this gun anyways, and there's going to be a lot that's going to be going into it. So, I'm just going to shoot this a couple times with LiPo here, so you can see what it's like currently. It's not stock anymore completely. I mean, 90% of it is. I just got a new motor in here. Also, I hate the battery compartment that this has. You cannot slide any, at least that I have. Actually, now I think about it, you can slide this one Asian off-brand and AMH in here perfectly, but I don't have any other stick-type batteries that slide in there. And as you can see, I've already tried to Dremel this tube out, but it is freaking strong steel or something, so it's not budging. It wasn't budging at all. So basically I just don't even use it, and we can leave this out actually, but it's also Tamiya, which that will be getting replaced when I put in a Gate Titan. And I really hate all the breaks that the connections have in the gun, like right here. Like, I don't even know what's the point of this. They got this weird like adapter thing that I guess would go into the tube. It's just stupid. Yeah, so we'll just fire this. But here's a fully charged 11.1 volt battery. I think it's 15C single, and then I think that would be 30C burst. But this is semi-auto. This is full auto. It's very, very, very low rate of fire right now. But fire it a couple more times on semi-auto just to release spring tension. So, yeah, have to charge that later. So, the first thing you want to do with disassembling this is right here. It's hard to show you this. There is a Allen key, and just take that out. I don't know if this is the same experience for everyone. I saw somebody who did this the opposite way, but I need to take this out first, because if I don't, this takedown pin is extremely stiff and it won't come out otherwise. So that's out. I know last time I chronoed this gun, it was around 385 FPS. Stock is really strong. Hold on a second. There. And it was about 8 to 10 rounds per second, which is very low. But yeah, so this pin should be able to come out now. You'll slide the upper off the lower. There we go. Whew. Yeah, we're good. Don't have much room back here. That black piece just fell out. Yeah, that black piece that fell out, that would go right in here, and that's where the Allen key screws in. I don't really know how exactly, but basically it does a really good job of holding in the upper receiver. So that's one of the reasons why this thing gets so stiff in there, because this little piece is just in there so well. But now that we're here, I might as well address one really big reason I hate the wiring of this gun is right here. I guess they made this, tried to make it easier for taking this gun apart, but they have, since the battery is front wired, they have wires that come through, there are fuse boxes up in here, and they have wires that come through to these two conductors, I guess, and when you put the gun, the receivers together, they just touch, and that's the only thing, it's just touch, there's no connection, they just touch, and that's the only thing that allows connection to go across to the motor. So, as you can probably imagine, that leaves a really good way for corrosion and interference with the battery and just resistance. So thankfully the Gate Titan is pre-wired for DN, so I'm just gonna take all that trash wiring out, throw that in there, and just get rid of this stuff, these connectors, because they freaking suck. So, next thing that you want to do after taking the receiver off is you want to take out the motor. And I will tell you, you will need a long Allen key for this one, because you got to go into the pistol grip. And they're Allen keys, 4 Allen keys down there. They don't want this pistol grip going anywhere. So yeah, like I said, I got a different motor in here. Well, at least I think I said that. Anyways, use this to get them off. This is one of the reasons I'm basically going to be redoing this gun. It's just not economical. There's all this stuff there. Oh boy. Oh, there's a lot of stuff on here. It's about time I've been doing this here. I've been doing this. Yeah, it's going to be getting new wires, new motor, everything. Maybe even this motor will have to be replaced. Next, you want to take out the 4 Allen keys that are in here. I always like to tighten these up good just to make sure they don't go anywhere. I can focus this. And these screws are sort of magnetized when you take them out because of the motor. So that's sort of nice. Man, I did not know that that was happening inside there. I shimmed this pretty good, but I guess we'll see what it looks like inside the gearbox. Am I getting this? Okay, it's just in there. And I don't know if you noticed, but the button here is missing. I have it, but it broke. Well, the thing that held it in broke, so I've been trying to figure out a way to fit it back in there again. And it's sort of necessary. Just to hold the stock in place good, so I gotta figure that out. The thing with this gun in the barrel assembly though is you got to get a long barrel for this thing. And I'll probably be flat hopping this eventually, but because it sort of lacks in range. But the hop unit's a bit, I think it's proprietary, which is a bit annoying, so you're sort of stuck with that. If you want to get a better one, you're stuck with this hop unit, which, you know, that sort of happens when you buy a unique gun. There's always going to be proprietary parts. There, you got the, I've had to modify this gun quite a lot, so it works better in general, I guess. Yeah, take the wires out of the pistol grip, and this is another area where I had to mod this. There's the tiniest of slots that these wires are supposed to go through. Even now it's hard to get them out, but before it was near impossible without breaking this. So I had to drill a hole over here because the slots here were extremely small for them to go through. But yeah, so now that's out of the way. Next thing you want to do here is, and this just makes it easier, and another thing here, a screw fell out right here while I was in the game. I looked down and it was gone. But yeah, so you want to take these screws out. There's one on the other side as well. And that's the final thing holding the stock in. So yeah, I should have this screw on the other side, but it fell out pre-game. Or not pre-game, in-game, I should say. I'll just throw that over here. Yeah, now we've gone to the selectors, and this is another thing I hate, just like I said before. The way they did these selectors, it's a tiny grub screw right here that you gotta take out, and it's practically stripped of this Allen key already. I'm gonna have to buy a new one eventually. Because you have to tighten these so much just to get them in there temporarily. And eventually, I had to put the shim here, which I'll get to that in a second. But the way they have this little pin right here that goes into these, there's these gears on the outside of this that are correspond to both sides. And this pin screws into a gear, and it has a special shape that corresponds to this, and when you turn this, it selects it, turns the gears. But this pin is only held in by this tiny screw that can get stripped so easily, and I already stripped this one, so I had to get a new screw that's sadly got a hump on it. It's you know, it's humped, it's not flat, so this thing stands up more, so I had to put a shim in there. But even before that, this was already having problems. So even that's already bad. I've already almost lost this before because a little screw got loose and fell out. But this little grub screw, the only thing holding this switch, this piece on here, onto this, is this grub screw right there. And it doesn't go into any hole, it just pushes straight onto this, onto the knob. So you got to tighten so much just to make sure this stays on there. But, you know, that's going to loosen up eventually, especially when you're turning this all the time in game. So that's what happens, is that this gets loose and then this pops off. So I really hate it. I wish that they drilled a hole in here the grub screw would go into, so then you wouldn't have to worry about that anymore. But no. It's a flawed design. The whole thing is flawed. I really don't like it. I wish they would change it, but yeah, so basically you gotta take these grub screws out. And like I said, I've almost stripped this Allen key doing them so much, tightening them so much. So now with this, I don't know if you can see, but yeah, there's the gears, the corresponding gears, and you have to, it's sort of difficult at first because this steel welded stamped lower receiver half is very tough. It's not that flimsy, so you have to like really pull your fingers in there to be able to widen it enough to get these gears out. But once you do it enough, it gets a little bit looser, so it's easier. These gears, like I said, this is the weird design that they have with the gears that turn. They're already falling around everything. They're not held in by anything, just the body. It's sort of dumb actually, but yeah, they're held in by just the body. So when you put this in, you have to make sure that they're lined up right, and then you have to stick it in there without them falling out. It's really annoying. But yeah, so you gotta take off all this extra safety stuff and everything. Little piece here, and you want to remember, it's pretty easy to figure out how these go, but you just want to remember that when you're taking it apart here. It's already getting stuck. There. Okay, so now you want to unscrew this tiny little guy here, take this gear out, and this is where the gears correspond to each other across sides. You just pull that up, and these come out. And after that, you've pretty much got a standard version 3 gearbox. A little bit of things are different. I really just don't like this wiring, this gun in general, because it's so cheap. And look at that. It's so stiff and bendy and weird. It's just not good wiring. And there's these that'll be coming off right there. Frick. Forgot about this key here. Need a different size just for this little one that holds this wire in. So yeah, now you can start taking off the screws. Wrong size. Is it? Yeah. What? There you go. Ah, boy. You want to keep track of all these screws too. There's a lot of different ones that correspond to different areas. Ah, boy, this thing's really in there. Thankfully, which is, different than version 2 gearboxes, they're just a thing that slides on the top, so you don't have all these different screws that go on here. Now, the thing I don't like about this is just getting it off. And at first it was really tight, but thankfully I've done enough that it got loose enough to take it off easier. And right here, you need to use one of these, because if you don't, you will strip them with an Allen key. I used an Allen key on these 2 screws for a while, and I almost stripped one. And thankfully, we had one of these sitting around. Don't actually even remember what they're called, but you need these screwdrivers for those 2 screws. Yeah, zoom in so you can see what it looks like. But yeah, so as you can see, this is what the screwdriver looks like. So, unscrewing these, I'm sure there'll be spring tension because no matter what I do. These are ball bearings right here, not bushings. Mine have gotten loose. I'll have to glue them in to clean out this gearbox. And e-bike says that this is a version 2 gearbox with a motor cage. I think either that or version 3, I can't remember, but I just know that it definitely doesn't have a motor cage. And it is just one of the weirdest version 3s I've ever seen. Let's see here. I'll move this, you can take this off before you do anything else. This, I sort of broke this, sadly. I'll have to use something else. I think I have another one I could use, which I'm gonna look for that real quickly. I guess I'm stuck with that one because the other one doesn't fit. So, now that we've gotten this far, you need to start to pull up this gearbox here. This is the fun part. Just take your Allen key of choice, stick that into the spring guide hole. And I think, pretty sure that this is a version 1, or Generation 1 gearbox, not a Generation 1 G&G gearbox. It's definitely was not as good as my friend's AK, which he got recently. And yep, there's a spring tension as always. There we go. But yeah, so yeah, this is definitely was not as good as my friend's, which he got. But yeah, these are all stock stuff right here. The only thing that I changed out inside the gearbox was the cutoff lever, because the old one had worn itself out. But yeah, so this is a ball bearing spring guide here, and I'll have to leave those on and take the ball bearings off of the piston head here. I'll be replacing the piston. Let me see, look at this. Yeah, this is looking pretty rough. Oh, I did correct AOE on here though, so that's why. That's my fault. There is some stuff in here though. Yeah, as I said, I corrected AOE with this rubber pad here. Something was grinding. But yeah, so that's it for disassembling your gearbox down to the, well, your G&G SV550 down to the gearbox. I'm going to be replacing basically everything in here. Boy, there's something happened in here though. Yeah, stay tuned for the next video. They should be interesting. I'm going to be short stroking my SHS 13.1 gears. I am going to be correcting the AOE in there. I will be gluing in the bearings. I'll have to inspect these later. What else was I going to do? I have a whole list of stuff I got to do in here. It's going to be a lot. Yeah, you guys should just stay tuned for that video. It'll definitely be interesting and pretty long too. But yeah, I'll get that up and running pretty soon here. I'm waiting for my Gate Titan to come in the mail. Evike delayed it for some reason, but it should be coming within the next couple days. And then I'm getting a new high power battery, higher than the other one I have. So basically this will be a brand new gun almost. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later.